Alright, now let's continue talking about quadratic equations and talk about graphing them. So, to graph the quadratic function, we know that a quadratic function will either open upward or downward, depending on if it's like a negative in front of like the leading coefficient or if it's a positive. So, for this particular example, what we will do is first factor out this -2, and then we're going to basically get x squared minus 2x minus 3, and then we're going to factor this down because that would allow us to figure out where the intercepts are, like at least the x-intercept. Y-intercept we can just plug in 0 in for x, and we will just get the constant 6. And then for the x-intercepts, we have this. So if we try to factor this, we will get x minus 3, and then x plus 1. So that tells us, one sec, that, I'm just going to erase this. That tells us that the intercepts are at 3, 0, and at -1, 0, because that's what would make these equal to 0. So then what we do is we take the intercepts. So I'll just write it here, x-intercept 3, 0, -1, 0. And we can plot them. So let's just say roughly 3, and then -1, and then 0, 6, another 1. To find the vertex, basically the maximum or minimum, the biggest or the smallest point, we are going to take those. So 3 plus -1, and we're going to divide it by 2 because we know that the vertex will be exactly in the middle of the two intercepts. So when we do that, we will get 3 minus 1, which is 2 over 2, so it's going to be 1. And then we can plug 1 into the equation and figure out that the vertex will be at 1, 8. And that's just plugging it in here for x. So now we have 1, 8, and then y-intercept and x-intercepts, and it's going to open downward because it's a negative out in front. Perfect. Try this one. So this one we know can be factored to x plus 2, x minus 2, and then plot the points that we know. So 2, -2, y-intercept is just plug in 0 for x, and we'll get -4. And then we can find the vertex by just doing, we know that the points will be -2, 0, and then 2, 0. So add -2 plus 2 divided by 2, it'll be 0 over 2, which is 0. So therefore, when we plug in 0, the y-intercept is the vertex. And then it just opens and connect the lines. Let's try one more. So in this one, it's a -x, -2x plus 3. So I'm going to factor out the negative. And then to factor it, x plus 3, x minus 1, y-intercept, plug in 0 for x, and we'll get 0, 3, x-intercept will be at -3, 0, and at 1, 0. So let's just plot those points. So -3, 1, and then 0, 3. And then obviously you can make the graphs a little bit more accurate, but just for simplicity, I'll just do it this way. So then we're going to take our intercepts, add them together. So minus 3 plus 1, and divide that by 2 to find like the midpoint, because that's going to be the equation for the axis of symmetry and the x coordinate for the vertex. So that's going to be at minus 1. And then lastly, just plug in minus 1. And we will get 1. And then minus 2, so that's going to be plus, and then plus 3, so it's going to be at negative 1 comma 6. So let's just say like roughly here. And then that's going to go down and like through these points and down, something like that. So vertex point was at minus 1 comma 6. And obviously if you use grid paper, it will be more accurate. But yeah, I hope that's helpful. That was part 1. Next, I'm going to show you how to do it with completing the square.